Welcome to Lesson 19, which roughly covers pages 123 to 127 of the Automate the Boring Stuff with Python textbook. Text is one of the most common forms of data that your programs will handle. You already know how to concatenate two string values together with the plus operator, but Python can do much more than that. Let's take a look at some of the ways Python lets you write, print, and access strings in your code. Typing string values in Python code is fairly straightforward. They begin and end with a single quote. But then, how can you use a single quote that's inside of a string? For example, we have the string, "That is Alice's cat." This doesn't work because Python thinks that the string ends after Alice because of this quote, and that the rest, this s-cat, is just invalid Python code. Fortunately, there are multiple ways to type strings. Strings can begin and end with double quotes just as they do with single quotes. That is Alice's cat. One benefit of using double quotes is that a string can have a single quote character in it. Since the string begins with a double quote, Python is smart enough to know that a single quote is just part of the string, and it's not indicating the end of the string. However, if you need to use both single quotes and double quotes inside of a string, you'll need to use escape characters. An escape character lets you use characters that are otherwise impossible to put into a string. An escape character consists of a backslash, followed by a letter that represents which escape character you want to add to the string. For example, the escape character for a single quote is \quote. So I could have a string, say hi to Bob's mother. Python knows that since this single quote has a backslash before it, this is not a single quote meant to end the string value. Instead, it's saying put a literal single quote as part of the string. Table 6-1 in the Automate book shows the different types of escape characters you'll use. You can have them for single quotes, double quotes. If you want to have a tab or multiple spaces entered into your text, or if you want to have a new line, similar to hitting the enter key, or if you want to have a backslash itself, you can just have //. So let's try out that new line character. Here, I'm just going to have something that's print hello there, and then /in for a new line character. How are you? Another new line. And then I'm fine, escaping that single quote. And this is how we can have a single print statement print out text across multiple lines. Now, if you have text that includes many backslashes that you don't want seen as the beginning of an escape character, you can use a raw string. In Python, a raw string is the exact same as a normal string, except it begins with a lowercase r right before it. So this is a valid Python string. So we can have something like, that is Carol's cat. And because this is a raw string, this is literally interpreted as part of the string. You can see when it's printed out as a string value, Python automatically adds that here. Let's try copying and pasting this into a print function call. And you can see right now, because this is a raw string, the backslashes are literally a part of the string. Raw strings are helpful if you're typing a string value that contains many backslashes, and this comes up in our lesson in the future about regular expressions. Now, while you can use /in to put a new line into a string, it's often easier just to use multi-line strings. A multi-line string in Python begins and ends with either 3 single quote characters or 3 double quote characters. So any quotes, tabs, or new lines in between the triple quotes are considered part of the string. So I could have something like print, begin a new multi-line, Dear Alice, Eve's cat has been arrested for catnapping, cat burglary, and extortion. Sincerely, Bob. And end that multi-line string. Now notice, I'm kind of breaking the rules of having one instruction per line right here. Python's smart enough to realize that, okay, this is all one quote-unquote line of code. This is just one function call. It doesn't matter that it's being split across multiple lines. I'm not creating any new blocks or anything like that. Python's smart enough to know, okay, until I see another triple quotes, everything here is part of the string, including all the new lines. So if we stored this string into a variable like spam, and we just wanted to display the string content inside spam, Python would automatically format it using the /ins. So triple quotes are really handy if you have some gigantic string. Say I'm going to create a new file editor window and just say I want to copy and paste the entire text to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, which I happen to have right here in this text file. I can just hit Control-A to select all and Control-C to copy, and then Control-V to paste it. And now any backslashes or single quotes or new lines that are inside all of this text are just automatically seen as part of the string. It's really unlikely that there's going to be a triple double quotes inside of this string. And if there are, I can just use the triple single quotes instead. Let me just end this. So all of this is just one giant variable assignment for the spam variable. And then I can just treat that string just like any other string. I could print it out. That's going to be a lot of output though. How about let's just print out what the length of this string is, just to see roughly how many characters are in it. I'll save this as example.py and press F5 to run it. Oh, okay. So that has 174,000 letters in it. Strings use indexes and slices the same way lists do. You can think of a string like hello world as kind of like a list-like value with each character being an item in that list. So if we had something like spam equals hello world, I could do all the same things with strings that I do with lists. So I could use indexes to pick out a single letter from it. I could use slices to pick out some substring from it. I could use the negative indexes to get the very last character. The in and not in operators also work with it, so hello in spam would evaluate to true, since this text does exist inside that string. I can see if the letter X appears in that string. It doesn't, so this evaluates to false. And note that this is case sensitive, so if I look for a capital hello inside that string, this will return false. To recap, strings can begin and end with double quotes just as they do single quotes. Escape characters let you put quotes and other characters that are hard to type inside your string code. Raw strings will literally print any backslashes in the string and ignore escape characters. Multi-line strings begin and end with triple quotes, and they can span multiple lines. Indexes, slices, the in and not in operators all work with strings just as they do with lists.